Good morning, year one, and welcome to our second day on measures. So, today we're going to be moving on and we're going to be looking at more investigating different size things, okay, and making comparisons between them and choosing the correct units. But before we do that, we've got an arithmetic starter to go through. So, I'm going to put that up on the board and you have a go at it. And when you're ready, start the video again. Okay, so welcome back. So 5 plus 5 you could probably do with fingers. You might well know that because it's a number bond to 10 and it's 10. 7 plus 1, you could start at 7 and count on 8, 9, 10, 11. 8 plus 3, exactly the same, 11. 4 plus 4, 8. Now 5 plus 7, again, you probably count on this time from the bigger number, so that's 7. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Still able to do these on fingers. And again, counting on 5 will give you 13. This next one, doesn't matter, it's turned around, that's also 13. And again, counting on from 11 to 17. So far, fingers would have done for this. Now, this time it's a bit trickier. We're going to count the number of fingers we actually hold up at the end because we're going to count from 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's 6 fingers. 7 to 16 is 9. 5 plus something. Now, we should be able to just know this now. But if you look on a number square, you'd know you're going down 10. And again, that's 10 plus 5 equals 15. And then we've got these turned around. So that's still going to be 10. And we're going to be doing this later in the term. And this one's also going to be 10. Right, now to finish with, number bonds to 20. 8 plus 2 makes 10, so 8 plus 12 makes 20. 7 plus 3 makes 10. 13 plus 7 makes 20. Brilliant. I bet you did fabulous with those. Let's introduce us to what we're doing today. So we're going to be using manageable standard units, which means meters and centimeters, to identify and measure objects around the classroom. Very similar to yesterday, but today you're going to be saying why you've chosen that particular object. Okay, so let's have a look at the grid. It's slightly trickier. Now, obviously at home, you may have a limited number of choices. Probably, like I said yesterday, you'll have a measuring tape, you'll have a ruler, you may or may not have a tape measure. Okay, and while the objects here may work for you, you probably have a pencil, you probably don't have a book area, and you might well have a book, but probably it's not your maths book. So you can choose your own things. But the first one, if we were doing a maths book, we would use a ruler. The reason for that is it is less than 30 centimeters and the ruler is exactly 30 centimeters. So anything that's smaller than 30 centimeters, a ruler is a really good choice. So what do you think about pencil? Pencil is also going to be a ruler. Now what do rulers measure in? That's right, they measure in centimeters. So here you're going to put centimeters and here you're going to put centimeters. So it's going to be the same answer. It is less than 30 centimeters. Now, length of the book area, you'll have to visualize this. The book area stretches basically from the door to the wall across the width of the classroom. So it's quite a big area. So you've got a choice. I would say if you were measuring the size of a room, which is probably equivalent, you would probably use a measuring tape and that would be acceptable. In class, we would probably use a trundle wheel, but either of them is good. We're going to go with measuring tape. And we're going to say, we're not that interested if it's 552 centimeters. What we're interested in is how many meters it is. So it's going to be in meters. And the reason for this, it's a large area. Okay. So what I'm going to put up for you is slightly different to what we're doing at home. I'm going to show you what we're doing in school, but I'm going to then, because that will give you an idea of some of the things, but then we're going to put up a different sheet. So in school, the easier sheet is this, and people are going to investigate these things. The harder sheet is this, with less information, but investigating basically the same things. What you can use is this. You can write down the object. You choose 3 or 4 objects around the house. Decide which measuring tool you're going to use. If you've only got a ruler, just do it with a ruler. That's fine. If you've got a ruler and a tape measure or a measuring tape, then you can do different size ones and say which tools they are. And think about why you're choosing the particular one. Remember, if it's small, you're going to use a ruler. If it's a big distance, you're going to use a measuring tape. And the last thing, if you have a tape measure, if you have one of these are really good for measuring around your waist, around your head, around a pillar in a room. Something that you need to go around because they are flexible. They will bend a lot better than these measuring tapes. And that's why we use these. And when these are mainly used when clothes are being made. Okay, so that's the third thing you might have. And that would be the third option. And think about the reason when you use that is when you need to measure around something. Okay, and that is the end of the actual lesson. But I've got something for you to think about. So I'll leave this up for a few seconds. And when you're ready, when you've done your work, go onto the plenary and have a think about this. Okay, how will we measure the height of our classroom or the height of a room? You can see a classroom here. What would you use, do you think? Which piece of equipment? Again, I'm going to remind you of the pieces of equipment. A meter ruler, a tape measure, a measuring tape, or a trundle wheel. So think about the height of a room. What do we think? The chances are you couldn't use a trundle wheel. You couldn't roll that up the wall. Chances are a meter rule would be quite difficult to use. So there's a good chance your best option is the measuring tape. Okay, because that is actually what builders use when they're measuring out and making sure ceilings come in at the right height. Okay, and if you can, think of something that would be better measured in meters, which is 100 centimeters than just centimeters, and try to explain to your grown-up why that might be. And that is the end of today's maths lesson. You've done brilliantly.